Ah, shit. Well, that was a lot of noise all at once. Accompanied by a wall of angry water, Junpei shot out of the room and into the opposing wall. The water tossed and turned him like a washing machine, and he only stopped rolling when he hit his head on the wall. Ah, no! No! It was not supposed to skip. It must still have my other file in it. Hang on. Where am I at? That felt too much like being flushed down a toilet. Junpei struggled to his feet in the still rushing water. Well, better than drowning, I guess. Am I in a hallway? The water that had followed him out of the room was rapidly pouring out of the door. It flowed quickly down the hallway and slammed into a foot of the short flight of stairs. Oh? Just 5 steps, in fact. And at the top of the short staircase. A door! Another door! Okay. Junpei leapt up the stairs straight for the door. The door burst open, and Junpei exploded out of it only to freeze in his tracks. What other possible response could there have been to what he saw? Fancy. His voice trailed off, and all he could do was stare. A polished floor stretched out before him, ornate staircases rising up from the edges, each one of them equidistant from the others. Oh, my back! I'm slouching. That's not good. Ah! The stairs and pillars were solid wood, and art... I'm gonna really, butcher this name right here. Art Nouveau. Yeah. Embellishments and decorations covered the walls and pillars. It looked like nothing so much as the entrance to a luxurious mansion from the early 1900s. It's a fancy ship. I mean, not every ship is a washed up fishing ship, you know. Junpei couldn't help but wonder. The water quickly filled the hallway behind him and suggested that yes, he was. As he looked, a fresh wave rolled out of the room he'd been in, gathering speed as it moved toward the stairs. I am not touching anything. Junpei spun around, his wet shoes squeaking in protest on the polished floor, and ran toward the tremendous staircase in front of him. I'll scroll up just in case you missed it. That's what he said. Just in case. As he ran, he glanced quickly at the plates mounted on the wall, denoting the decks of the ship. He took the stairs 2 at a time, not entirely sure where he would find himself, just as he began to wonder where, in fact, the stairs did lead. Oh! There's people! People! Junpei saw another person out of the corner of his eye.
人が
He stopped short, nearly tripping over the next stair, and looked. It wasn't just one person he'd seen. On the landing to the left of the stairs, there were 4 people staring at him. On the right side, 3 more.
こんなに
All told, there were 7 of them. It looked as though they had been on their way down the stairs. They'd stopped short when they saw Junpei, their eyes wide. He'd done the same, of course, and now they stood there staring at one another.
えっと
Junpei didn't move, one foot placed awkwardly on the next step, in the middle of a stride. Who were these people? This entire interaction lasted only a matter of seconds. The woman spoke to Junpei, and time began to move again.
仲間が一人増えたわね。
Lovely.
踊り子
The woman was dressed, Junpei thought, rather like a dancer. Her clothes covered very little, and her prodigious, there we go, jewelry little more.
違うわよ。それよりあなたも早く。
Her voice is too soft, in my opinion, for her character. At least right now. With no further ceremony, she ran straight past Junpei and toward the doors behind
違
him.
うとか言われても
The sudden proximity of a woman with such striking assets left Junpei momentarily stunned. The blood's rushing. Not in the right direction. But the others wasted no time and quickly followed the strange woman.
銀髪
あ
The first to pass Junpei was a young man with silver hair. He threw a quick glance at Junpei's direction as he ran, muttering,
仲間こいつがね
One of us! One of us!
なんだよ
別に
What do you mean nothing? Following him was an older man, his face calm and without fear. Soft wrinkles sprouted from his eyes, and he came close enough to, as he passed, for Junpei to see wisps of gray in his hair. His composure and shock of hair struck Junpei as rather like that of an elderly lion.
上はダメだ。扉は2枚あるが両方とも開かない。
扉開かないって
The next to speak to Junpei was a girl with pink hair and a high voice.
だからほら、あなたも一緒に来て。早く。
Her small hand was wrapped around the wrist of another man. His eyes were closed, almost as though he were sleeping. His features were graceful, almost serene, and he was dressed rather elegantly for someone his age. Something about his posture seemed very refined, and Junpei couldn't help but feel he was noble and dignified somehow. He'd certainly never seen one, but this man seemed like what Junpei had always imagined a prince would be like.
これで9人かどうやらカードは揃ったみたいだね
What does that mean? Junpei opened his mouth to ask what the other man had meant, but the girl with pink hair rushed past him.
ちょっとしまった何なんださっきからライオンみたいなじいさんにピンクの頭の女の子意味のわからない言葉を残していった王子様にと
He turned just in time to see 2 more people running toward him. One of them had hair like a bird's nest and looked as though a stiff breeze might topple him. And the other was a veritable mountain of a man.
あ え
The scrawny one scuttled past Junpei as though he were running from something.
何も言わず ずに行っちまった。
おい、何ポケット突っ立ってんだ。
Gosh dang it, Stealth, I don't care. Go away. Hey, what the hell? Oh, what the hell are you standing around for?
さっきのおっさんの話聞いてなかったのか。
No.
上のフロア A デッキの扉は開かない。だからこのフロア B デッキの扉をこれから調べるんだ。分かったな。分かったらさっさと動け。
Before he had a chance to respond, the man laid a massive hand on Junpei's shoulder. With no more effort than Junpei would have used to brush aside a fly, the man shoved him out of the way. Thanks, dude. Thrown off balance by the man and recent events, it took Junpei a few steps to get his bearings. He finally regained his balance and looked up at what the other 7 had been running toward.
あっぶねえな、あの岩男。お。
There were 2 pairs of large iron doors set into the wall in front of him. They looked quite sturdy and each had handles jutting from them. Written across the surface of each door in red paint was a number. The door on the right?
4? じゃあこっちの扉には5。
同じだ。
The guy Junpei had decided to call Silver was mumbling to himself.
俺が閉じ込められてた部屋にも同じように数字の書かれた扉があったんだ。
そうか、君の部屋もか。
With an arched eyebrow, the lion looked over at Silver.
私がいた部屋も同じだ。ドアに数字が記されていた。それを開いて通路を抜け、この大階段のある広間へとやってきたんだ。
It was as though the floodgates had been opened. They all began to talk at once.
私も。
俺も同じだ。確かに数字の書かれたドアがあった。
It soon became clear that each one of them had awoken in a room with a locked door and solved a puzzle to escape. They'd all ended up in the same room, almost as though they'd been guided here. There.
ねえ、そんなことよりも早く。
分かってるよ。
Before the dancer had time to finish, Silver was already running.
開けよ。
He grabbed hold of the door labeled 5 and pulled. However,
ダメだ。びくともしないぜ。
邪魔だ、どけ。
the mountain grabbed Silver's shoulder and tossed him aside. His path cleared, he took a few steps back, then threw himself at the door. Once. Twice. 3 times. 4 times. Done? The door shook as his body slammed into it, but showed no signs of breaking or opening. The mountain threw himself at the door again.
あの体当たりでもダメなのかよ。何か方法は。
Junpei turned toward the door 4. Next to the door on the wall was a small box.
この装置、あの3段ベッドがあった部屋のものと同じだな。ってことはつまり、この扉も施錠されてるってことか。いや、それでも。
He had to check. Junpei grabbed a handle and threw all of his weight into it. It was locked as tight as the door next to it, as he'd suspected. Junpei punched the door. It did not respond.
他に 他に扉はないのか?
He'd barely finished the thought when the sea deck plate he'd passed on his way up sprang unbidden into his mind. His body moved before he had time to think. Junpei turned and ran back toward the stairs. He had scarcely taken a step when, at the top of the stairs next to an ornate clock embedded in the wall, he saw a person. It was a girl. She looked to be the same age as Junpei. He froze, unable to look away from her face. He wasn't confounded by her beauty or something equally silly. No, there was another reason he couldn't take his eyes off the girl. Junpei had seen her somewhere before. He couldn't quite remember where, but he knew he'd met her before. The girl, too, stared at Junpei, similarly stunned. Her response suggested that she'd seen him before as well. Without saying a word, Junpei walked slowly toward her. She didn't move. It was almost as though she was held in a place by some sort of magic spell. I cast freeze on you. As Junpei stepped onto her landing, the spell broke. Damn it, I broke the ice. No sooner had he set his foot down than the whole ship shook a second time. The quake caught the girl unprepared, and she fell. Moving on instinct, Junpei leapt to catch her. Or so he thought. Fail. Her face was far closer than it should have been, mere inches from his own. He was flat on his back, and she had landed squarely on top of him. The girl seemed as confused as he did, and her face suggested that she still hadn't fully recovered from seeing him. For a moment that seemed to stretch for a very long time, they stared at one another. The ship stopped shaking. Everything was quiet. Water could be heard from the bottom of the ship, lapping faintly at walls and ceilings, but eventually that faded as well. Silence was complete, a thick, muffling blanket. That sentence sounds wrong. The silence was complete, a thick, muffling blanket. Okay, whatever. At last the girl opened her mouth.
もしかして俊平くん
Jumpy. Jumpy. Her words echoed through Junpei's head, and suddenly his memory returned.
お前、もしかして、茜か?
Why hadn't he realized before? The girl was Akane Kureshiki. I rolled my R. I suck. She and Junpei had been friends in childhood. They'd gone to elementary school together for 6 years. But what was she doing on the ship? Her soft eyes were only inches away from his own. He could feel the warmth of her face. Feelings he thought long forgotten began to work their way to the surface. And probably to his nether regions. He could feel his face heating up. Oh, maybe not. At that moment... No! I hate that it keeps doing that. At that moment, a speaker crackled to life. A cold, eerie voice filled the room. They hurried They hurriedly untangled themselves from one another and struggled to their feet. Their 7 companions had heard the voice as well, and many of their faces had gone pale. They looked around frantically, desperate to locate the source of the voice. At last they found it. A speaker set in the ceiling. The voice was harsh, obscured occasionally by the crackle of static.
この声は
Junpei recognized it. How could he have forgotten it?
あのガスマスク男の。
てめえどこにいやがる。出てこい。
一体私たちをどうするつもりだ。
Enough with the game. I don't want to play it. But I guess I kind of am playing it, aren't I? No. Uh.
ノナリーゲーム。
何なんだそいつは。
The voice continued, implacable. Implaceable? Okay. You put shit in my pockets while I was asleep, you dirty pervert.
何言ってるの？
おい、ポケットに何か入ってるぞ。
Silver reached into his pocket and pulled out a small slip of paper. Oh no, I just smacked my table. No. The rest of them reached into their own pockets and pulled out similar slips of paper. Junpei followed suit and dug into the pocket of his pants. He felt the telltale crumple of paper, slightly damp from his earlier ordeal.
俺もだ。
どうやらゼロは全員に同じ手紙を配ったようだな。君読んでみてくれないか。
His request had been delivered to Junpei, who, after a short moment of surprise, did as he'd asked. Been asked.
船内には数字の書かれた扉が何枚かある。これをナンバリングドアという。今諸君らの目の前にあるのがまさにそれだ。ナンバリングドアを開くには各自に割り振られたバングルナンバーが鍵となる。バングルナンバーの合計数。その数字根が扉に書かれた数と一致した場合のみそれは開く。扉を開いた者だけがその先へと進める。ただし人数制限がある。ナンバリングドアを開くことができるのは3人から5人までだ。当然その先へと進めるのも同じ人数となる。バングルってのはこの腕輪のことか。
Didn't you figure that out, like, when you were in that room? It's not a watch, but it's a bracelet. He glanced around. It looked like everyone else had one as well, and had come to much the same conclusion.
ゲームの目的はあえて言うまでもないだろう。この船から生きて脱出すること。脱出するための出口は船内のどこかに隠されている。探したまえ9と書かれた扉がそれだ。
The voice finished, and the speaker went silent.
鐘の音。
Hmm.
階段の踊り場の方から聞こえてきてるみたい。
Hmm.
時計が時を告げているんだ。
Everyone had their eyes on the antique clock embedded in the wall. 7, 8, 9. The sound of the ninth bell faded away. The 10th never came.
鐘の音が9回。9時ってことか。
それも多分午後の9時だ。あの三段ベッドの部屋、窓の向こうは真っ暗で何も見えなかった。だから今が夜であることは間違いないと思う。
だとすると、タイムリミットは明日の午前6時ということになるな。
The speaker went silent and did not speak again.
やいてめえ、何様のつもりだ。出てこいこの野郎。
銀髪のやつずっと怒鳴り続けてるな。他のやつらは？
Junpei, too, was consumed by his thoughts.
わからない。ゼロってのは一体何者なんだ？ノナリーゲーム？何のためにそんなことを？愉快犯的なものなのか？それとも何か別の目的があるのか？そもそもどうしてそんなわけのわからないゲームに俺が選ばれたんだ？他の奴らもそうだ。この8人が選ばれた理由は何だ？そして何よりもどうして茜が？茜とは小学校を卒業して以来一度も会っていない。その茜がどうしてこんなところにいる？偶然なんてことはありえない。必ず意味があるはずだ。彼女がここにいる意味が。
とにかく
The lion's voice seemed oddly loud in the silence.
このままじっとしていても仕方がない。動こ
う。動く？
ナンバリングドアを開くつもりですか？
ちょっと待ちなさいよ。あのゼロとかってやつの言ったことに従うつもり？
違う、そうじゃない。
The lion shook his head, mildly annoyed.
別の道を探しに行こうと言ってるんだ。まだ調べてない場所が残ってるだろ。
調べてない場所？
まだ調べていない場所か。俺以外のみんなは A デッキを調べてきたんだよな。
ああ、焦ってたんで隅々まで完璧にとは言えないかもしれないがな。
だったら先に下のフロアから調べてみよう。どこまで行けるか、まずは降りられるところまで降りてみるのがいいと思う。
異議なしだ。
では行ってみるとしよう。
うわ
何よこれ、完全に水没しちゃってるじゃないの。
Let's go swimming!
おいおい、 このままどんどん水かさが上がってきて全員仲良く溺死なんてのはごめんだぞ。
いや、今のところその心配はなさそうだよ。
The prince knelt down and quickly gently, wow, I can't read, gently drew his hand across it.
水が流れていないということはどこかでせき止められているんじゃないかな。もしかしたらあのゼロってやつが遠隔操作か何かで水密扉を閉めたのかもしれない。タイムリミットは9時間。ゼロはそう言っていた。ならば逆に言うと9時間は持ちこたえるということに。
それまでは沈まないっていうのか。
あくまでも希望的観測だよ。そうであってくれたらと願ってるのさ。
嫌な話だぜ。
しかしここから先に進めないとなると我々の動ける範囲は A デッキから C デッキまでということになるな。
みたいだな。
結論を出す前に残りの C デッキも調べてみようぜ。もし
Oops.
だな。とりあえず目立つのは大階段の正面にある鉄の扉か。
2枚とも数字は書かれてないのね。認証装置らしきものもついてないみたい。ダメね、鍵がかかってる。
こっちもだ。くそ、どこもかしこも開きやがるね。
おい、こっちだ。階段の裏手にも1枚あったぞ。
ここも開かないか。
こうなりゃおよっさん手伝え。
力ずくというわけか。やってみよう。
てや
はあ、ダメか。
ちょっといきなり暴れないでよ。びっくりするでしょ。
すまん。
しかし2人がかりで体当たりしてびくともしないとは相当に頑丈な作りのようだな。
バカね、考える前に筋肉代理なんて。
あ
ほら、よく見てみなさいよ。
鍵用の。
そう、他の扉と違ってここは開く方法が分かってるんだから。
鍵ね。
何か文句でも？
いや、ただそう簡単に鍵が見つかるのかと思っただけだ。
Ignoring the tense air between the two, Junpei moved closer to examine the doorknob.
なんだこれ。
Just above it was a strange mark in the shape of a circle surrounding a dot.
妙なマークがついてるな。何か意味があるのか。
What is that? The sun?
ねえ、こっち後ろの方も見てよ。
ん？
Pink hair was looking at double doors that they hadn't
こ
examined
っ
yet.
ちも扉か。
扉っていうかエレベーターだよねこれ。よ
Hmm.
押してみるか。反応がないな。
電気が来てないんですかね。
もしくはこのドアの横にあるカードリーダーが関係しているとかかな。あ、ここにも妙なマークがあるな。
Saturn.
何なんだろうなこれ。小文字の H の縦棒にマイナスを加えたみたいな記号だが。
Junpei stared at it for a while.
土星のマークですね。先生術なんかで使われるシンボルみたいなものです。
じゃあさっきの扉にあったのは。
あれは太陽のマークだと思います。
I thought it was the sun.
星のシンボルは A デッキにもあったよね。
そんなもんあったか？
記憶にないわね。
A デッキか。俺はまだ行ったことがないからな。
せっかくだ。もう一度しっかりと調べに行こうじゃないか。